Good evening. My name is Randolph Micklejohn. I'm a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals of the Town of Brookline and the chair of this evening's meeting. Before we begin, I will confirm that all members and other persons anticipated to participate on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Wadner Oje.
Here.
Jesse Geller.
Present.
Staff, likewise, Cameron James.
Here.
And Cameron, I'm just noticing Nicole is down in this. Do I have to acknowledge her as a staff member?
No, she's not a staff member.
Okay, good.
She's here for Bob Allen's office.
Thank you. All speakers should identify themselves by name prior to speaking. This meeting of the ZBA in open session is being conducted remotely and in a manner that is consistent with Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025, which authorizes this body to meet entirely remotely so long as adequate alternative means of public access is provided. Adequate public access does not include public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. For this meeting, the ZBA is convening by video conference via Zoom as posted on the town's calendar, which identifies how the public may access the meeting. Be advised that this meeting is being held and that some attendees may be participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that others may be able to see you and take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. All supporting materials that have been provided to members of this body are available on the town website through a link in the agenda. The meeting will follow the agenda unless I note otherwise. Next, I'll cover some ground rules that will permit clear and effective conduct of our business and help to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, I will invite each member by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold yours until your name is called. Please also remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking and to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. Before responding, please wait until the floor is yielded to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in colloquy with other members, please do so through me. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call. Finally, I will explain how members of the public may speak in this meeting. If you wish to speak, you may either raise your hand using the Zoom feature or send a chat message to our host, Cameron. Cameron, I'll ask you to help me look for raised hands and also to tell me about requests to speak that you receive via the chat. I will try to call on members of the public in the order in which their requests were received. When it is your turn to speak, I will call on you by name only. Please begin your remarks by confirming your name and stating your address. All right, and I'm going to switch over to the agenda now. We have 3 items on the agenda, and we're going to hear them in the order in which they appear there. For each item, each case, I will introduce it by its case number and address and identify the applicant or person who will speak on the applicant's behalf and ask if they will waive a reading of the public notice. The applicant will present the request for relief, and if the board requests it, the design of the project, and board members may ask questions of the applicant. Next, we will hear public comment. First, I will call on those members of the public wishing to speak in favor of the project and then on those opposed. We will then hear the reports of the planning department and of the planning board and comments by the building department. Finally, the board will deliberate and give its decision. Our first case this evening is number 2025-000064. This concerns property at 66 Toxtus Street, where the project is to construct a 3-story dwelling unit and attach it to the rear of an existing single-family dwelling. Mr. Allen, are you here as on behalf of the applicant?
I am, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Will you waive a reading of the public notice?
I will.
All right, thank you. Please go ahead and tell the board about your request for relief.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, for the record, my name is Robert Allen. I have a law practice 300 Washington Street. I'm here representing Samuel Engel and his wife, Ann, who I think is on the phone, but is under the weather tonight. Samuel could not be here because he is teaching a class. We also have Joy Cumming, who should be on, or Cam, you'll see her coming on soon. and she is the architect on the project. The Engels purchased the home in 2023, but their longtime Brookline residents having moved from Bowker Street, where they lived for 20 plus years, and has spent the last 3 years or so, or 5 years or so, living in this property. It's a single family and a 2-family zone. It's a T5 zoning district. Neighborhood is mostly single and 2-family homes. The proposal is to add a second dwelling unit at the rear of the property connected by a breezeway. This results in a change of use from a single family to a 2-family, again, in a 2-family zone, which requires a special permit under use number 5. The project also proposed to eliminate the existing narrow curb cut and move and widen the driveway to the other side of the lot, which we believe will not only improve pedestrian safety and visibility, but also allow for additional landscaping on the sunny south-facing side, while turning the unusable north-facing side into parking. This design is the result of multiple iterations and extensive neighborhood outreach, including site walks. I will say, you know, you will have some letters of support. You do have some letters of concern. We weren't able to keep everybody happy, but in particular, the rear abutter, who actually has a carriage house directly on the property line, did not want to see, right now where our garage would be the ideal location for a carriage house, kind of right back up to his carriage house. He did not want it in that. So we actually made sure that this building is actually fully compliant with rear yard and side yard setbacks. We had to reduce the footprint of the second dwelling, but we comply, as I said, with all requirements. We also increased the usable open space. You'll see from some pictures that, you know, setting it into it slopes up in the back, and the garage is actually built into the hillside. And in our perfect world, we would have preferred to have the carriage house built into the hillside, but we were trying to work with as many neighbors as possible. As you know, sometimes it's not easy to keep everybody happy, but we tried to keep a majority happy, especially the immediate abutters who are most impacted by it. So, so we did make it fully compliant. A comprehensive landscaping plan is proposed, and the applicant has retained an arborist to assist putting together the tree protection plan as required under the town's tree bylaw. So this project will fully comply with the tree protection bylaw, but does require removal of 2 of the 11 mature trees that are on the property, one of which we're told is in poor health. But again, we have to comply with the bylaw. The site currently offers 3 tandem parking spaces to the left-hand side, all single, narrow, and the goal is to flip it to the other side, expand to provide 4 total spaces arranged in double tandem configuration. This layout is well suited for a 2-family home, rather than having 4 cars in the existing non-conforming driveway, all tandem. And it's kind of in the character of both the neighborhood and the street. In fact, the adjacent property from the street to the left has a similar parking arrangement. The parking area has also been positioned as far back from the street as possible to A, meet the required 15-foot setback, and B, protect the root system from the 2 mature maple trees that are at the end of the driveway. The only zoning relief required is a special permit for the 2-family use and side yard setback relief for the parking area pursuant to 5.43. That's because the parking area is not set back the full 5 feet from the side yard setback. I know, I believe the chair had a question relative to 604.5C1 or 605.5, I forget which one it was. But in my opinion, that doesn't apply, and I'll explain that why historically that hasn't applied and what that typically has been interpreted to mean as I get into the zoning. Before turning over to the architect, I'll note that the planning board voted unanimously to approve the project. There was very little discussion about adding the unit. Much of the discussion focused on trees and parking. 3 members preferred to actually have a driveway on each side as an alternative to parking all on one side, which is actually the first time in all my years of doing this that the planning board has suggested having 2 parking spaces with 2 separate curb cuts. The majority did feel that having, and we agree that having the driveway on one side and 2 tandem spots makes much more sense. And we think it's a better neighborhood amenity and allows for a better landscaping plan, as the former driveway will be beautiful landscaped and replanted. And the new driveway, which is currently kind of a mud pit when it's wet and very dark because there's so many trees over there. It's very dark, very little grows there. So turn that into parking and turn the south side into landscaping, we think works well. So if that, do you see Joy coming on here at all, Cameron?
No.
Well, that's great. So maybe you can promote Nicole,
Yep, Nicole's all set.
and she can, and I guess I'll have to do the best I can. I do expect Joy to be here. I'm not sure why she's not. We had a conversation earlier today. But I will do the best I can to walk through the proposal. Here's just a layout of a sketch drawing of the property. That's the rear of the property. If you just go back one sec, Nicole. So that's the rear of the property. You'd be looking towards Toxteth, and you note the side yard setback. You note the what's required is to have a connection in the top and the bottom. So we did that through the breezeway area there. That makes it comply with zoning. Here is a layout of the proposed site plan. And as you will see, we do comply with the rear yard setback and the side yard setbacks for the additional unit. It's connected through the breezeway. And essentially, we've put it in such a way that you pretty much can't see anything from the street. So again, the only relief we needed, as you see from the front, originally we were cited, as you may have seen, for we had a 21-foot curb cut. One of the things we heard about, and we didn't consider at first, we are going to close that curb cut on the right-hand side where the existing lot is, where Nicole is circling right now. But what was brought up is that this is so close to Lawrence School that there's a lot of parking on the street there. So what we tried to do is to limit the curb cut. You're allowed to go 20 feet. We lowered it to 18 feet. And what that does is it shrinks it on the street to allow for more parking there, but also limits the amount of relief right at the front area. And then it gets to sort of 1 foot as you pull in. Now,
Bobby,
yeah.
Bobby, a question for you here.
Sure.
I think this site plan is different from the drawing we had in our packet. With respect to the width of the curb cut, are there other changes that you want to point out to us?
No, that's
the only one.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. To be honest, I missed it until it got brought up, until I saw it there at the planning board meeting and stared at the 21 feet the entire time. It didn't get brought up at the planning board, but I knew it had to be 20 feet or under. So originally we were just going to get it to 20 feet to comply, but after listening to the neighbors, we tried to 18 feet. Granted, it's only 2 extra feet, but you know how parking in Brookline around a school, 2 extra feet is 2 extra feet.
Right. Do you want to talk about 6045C1 here, or do you want to come back to it?
No, I think it's a good time to talk about it here. And
Okay.
I'll tell you this. I think the question is, why weren't we cited for that? And I think, and I didn't open Paul's email.
Well, you have been cited now. There's a revised denial letter from the building department.
Yeah, the problem is I didn't have a chance to talk to Paul about it. And I can only tell you this. Listen, if this board in its wisdom thinks that it does apply here, we can get a special permit under 5.43 to make it a special permit with counterbalancing amenities, but
only if you meet all the special permit conditions.
I understand.
And I'll just tell you in advance, I don't think you do. So, but go on.
Okay. So I will tell you that the only time I have seen this used was because if you read it, it says that the surface area parking lot, all entrances and exits shall be set forth and according to the following requirements in such setback area. Listen to this, such setback area.
Sorry, give us the paragraph where you read.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at 6045C. I'm reading 6045C.
Oh, okay, you're starting on C.
Yes.
Got it. Yeah, thank you.
In such setback area shall be landscaped and continuously maintained substantially in accordance with the original approved plan. And then it goes on to say from the front yard, except where the access driveway crosses the street lot line. So nobody knew what crosses the street lot line had meant. What that has been interpreted by the building commissioner, Dan, to mean is that this provision is used when you have the circular driveway or a pork chop type driveway where it curves in. Maybe there's a turnaround or something like that. So once that property starts to curve, once that driveway would start to curve, that setback would need to be met. So if these houses were all like 35 feet back, right, in the required, if you took the average alignment and the required had to be 20 feet, let's say, that driveway as it curved would have to be at 20 feet. Because if you look at it, how could we, this is never ever applied to a sort of right angle parking lot, a parking lot which you just drive in. Because if you go back to what I just said, such setback area shall be landscaped and continuously maintained. So how would you be able to landscape 15 or 20 feet of the driveway and still have a driveway? There'd be no driveway allowed, right? So it doesn't make any sense. But what it does mean, if you have a circular driveway, they want to see landscaping there to block off as it's curved.
Okay, so I get what you're saying about the exception for the access driveway crossing the lot line, and that's what happens at that street lot line. So where do you go for the minimum setback for the parking?
You go right to 501, and it's 15 feet. You do front yard setback, and you have to keep the car 15 feet back, which we do.
But it says, except where an access driveway crosses the street lot line. So how can you keep using the paragraph?
Well, what do you mean? I don't understand the question. Where an access driveway crosses the street lot line, I can just tell you that it's typically been interpreted as having turned in and running parallel with the street. That's the way it has been interpreted, because
sure, I get that. If we were on a corner lot and the driveway was entering on some other lot line and the drive is swinging along, you can't bring it, more than X distance to the front lot line if the driveway was entering on some line other than the front.
Yeah, I mean, if it's on a corner lot, and if it's straight in, parallel with, I don't know, perpendicular with the street and goes straight in perpendicular, there's not an issue there. It just goes by the 15-foot front yard setback. I mean, this is when I wish Paul was here, because that's the way it's always been interpreted, and that's why we weren't cited. And listen, I know Paul has a lot on his plate, and I know how much time he put into this to revise that. Or if we just said, fine, I'll just cite it, because it has never been interpreted that way. And again, I don't know how you could interpret it that way and then say, hey, by the way, that 20-foot setback that you do, if you use average alignment, which is the 20 foot of the parking lot, that needs to be landscaped too. Do you follow?
I don't think anybody would make you landscape a driveway when that's the only way you can get to the parking spaces.
Well, that's what it says. So it says that it shall be landscaped. It doesn't say you may be landscaped. It says shall be landscaped.
Yeah, I mean,
so it's a variance. Where
you started reading was getting into the subject area, by way of a parking lot. And, I can't remember the last time we had an actual parking lot. Mostly we just have houses with driveways and we talk about where the cars are going to go. Yeah. Something you said in your presentation a moment ago, where you said that you had put the parking, I wrote this down, as far back as it could be. Why is that as far back as it can be?
Well, there's two maple trees that, if you zoom in, Nicole, so we brought an arborist out. There's two maple trees, and we had them give us the I don't know, what's it called, the root, where the roots,
drip line or something.
Yeah, to protect it from not going over the roots. So that was the exact distance that they said. I mean, listen, we could pull it back and take down that maple tree. The neighbors aren't going to be happy about it because that's a nice tree. My clients won't be happy about it. But if you feel like we need that to comply, we'll just take down the maple tree.
I mean, I'll be honest. You've been in many of the hearings when we have discussions about the impact on the neighborhood of
Yeah.
placing parked cars in the front yard, right? Some of them not too far from this block of Toxteth, but it's not generally a prevailing condition on Toxteth. This is why I'm questioning it, and I'm also questioning, as I always do, what the other options are for the designer. I understand what you're saying about the maple. It's a little hard to see on this drawing. It looks like that says it's a 16. I can't really read it. 16-inch maple, some size maple, but the symbol is not is.
Yep, 16.
Yeah, maybe 16. Yeah,
And the one behind it's like a big one.
Yeah.
38.
Yeah, I know you don't have a landscape art. It would be more convincing about tree protection if somebody drew that drip line that you discovered. But I understand what you've said about that.
Laura McGrath is here. That's our landscape architect. She may be able to address the tree roots if that's helpful.
Let's see. Hi, am I there?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, guys.
Yeah, please give us your name again for the record.
Laura McGrath. I'm a garden designer. I'm not an architect. But we've been working with Barrett trees, and that is, yeah, they were looking at the maple trees and the root area. I think it's a 30-foot circumference around the tree that needs to be protected. Anyway, those trees are two really beautiful sugar maples, and that the parking area was back enough, according to the arborist, to preserve the trees.
What do you estimate is the dimension between the closest end of that parking space and the stem of the tree? It sure doesn't look like 30 feet. Have a dimension?
I think it would be 15 and 15 across, but across.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said 30 foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
So I think it's okay, but no, I don't have that right here. I can grab a plan and look at that, but yeah, I don't have that measurement right here.
Okay, well, if Bobby, do you want to carry on? Do you want to talk about the side setback situation as well, and what the relief is? What the bylaw says and what the relief is that's needed.
Talk about. Yeah, so as you see there, we only have a foot between us and the neighbors on the left in this picture, between the driveway there, and as you know, the board requires, or the bylaw requires, 5 feet. What we are proposing is a pretty significant landscaping plan that takes the former driveway, the south facing side, and creating a significant landscaping plan. And maybe Nicole, you can just show that plan of what we're doing as a counterbalancing amenity for the property. But that's really the only relief we needed, in my opinion, is the side yard setback for the driveway. And I still don't see them, the 5C1 applying in this particular circumstance.
Can I ask about the site, because there isn't it isn't in planning board, and it's not in the dimensional table on the site plan. What do you think the bylaw allows, or what do you think is required by the bylaw for the side setback of those parking spaces?
5 feet. 5 feet between the property line to our abutter and the actual driveway, where the driveway begins. You're quite
well. I'm looking at the bylaw right now. I think, the design is what it is, but I think the bylaw gives you 5 feet for a driveway. I don't think it gives it to you for the parking lot.
This isn't a parking lot.
Well, what do you call it where you put the cars?
A driveway. Where does it say, where does it distinguish between a driveway and a parking lot? I mean, we're not parking cars here, that we're just, these are homeowners parking their car in their driveway.
Of course, they're homeowners, it's a home.
Oh, right.
But my point, that here's what that subparagraph 2 says. From the side lot line in the front yard and side yard, this is for the setback required for if you go back to C, where you started reading, the surface area of a parking lot and all entrance and exit drives, setback in accordance with the following. The distance specified for minimum side yard width under table 501, except that for a driveway, the distance may be reduced to 5 feet or 1/3 the driveway width. A driveway is where the car is moving, in my opinion, and not where the car is stopped. And it makes sense to me that the bylaw would allow a driveway where cars are temporarily there because they're moving closer to a lot line, but it would not allow the car to be parked there. And I think all that means is that that what the bylaw requires is 10 feet and you're asking for 1. And you can ask for it, but I just think that's your starting point.
Well, this will be the very first time that this bylaw has ever been interpreted that way, Randolph. It's 5 feet. It's 5 feet. I mean,
well, I've still been doing this less than 10 years, so it's not the first time.
You're implying that 5C1 applies, but that says the driveway. But is it a driveway or is it a parking lot? I mean, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say that one applies and that says driveway.
What I'm saying
I've literally done 100 of these cases that have,
okay.
It's all right. It's 5 feet and it's always been 5 feet. I don't know what else to say. I mean, where do you get 10 feet from?
From the sides, that's from table 501. And if you want it to be 5 feet, it has to be a driveway, and a parking lot is not a driveway. A parking lot is where the cars are.
You show me in the definition. I mean, well, we should just continue this until Paul's on, because I mean, I don't know. Or I mean, Jesse's sat through a lot of these hearings. If we're going to start calling double wide driveways, when's a driveway a parking lot, or when's a parking lot a driveway? I don't know. I've never had these questions asked before.
Okay, I understand that.
Yeah.
But did you get, sorry, Bobby, did you get, just stepping back a minute, did you get through commentary on the items of relief? I think you did, right?
I did, yeah. But if you're going to need more information, I'll save my zoning.
Yeah. Randolph, may I make a suggestion?
Of course.
I think as much as we don't like kicking the can down the road, I would strongly suggest that Bob's proposal is a smart one.
Proposal to continue?
To get something out of Paul, either in written fashion or to show up, that can clearly explain this and answer the questions that you have.
Okay.
Okay, and, you've raised some specific questions. I don't actually know the answer to the questions you're raising. I would like to hear, before commenting, I would like to hear from Paul precisely what he is citing, what his opinion is. You've raised a question about driveway versus parking facility versus parking area. I think it becomes troubling in the context of residential properties, in particular, to distinguish between driveway and parking area. People park in their driveway. So it's hard. It's not like a commercial lot. But I would like to hear from Paul. Honestly, I cannot recall the specific issue coming up in a case. Bob may be able to find one. I suspect he probably can. but I don't know the answer off of the top of my head. So rather than go, 12 rounds here,
Yeah.
I think we need an adequate explanation. And for all we know, Paul's going to say, no, of course, driveway, he may confirm what Bob is saying, and he may also determine that a special permit relief under the standard section is appropriate. But I think we need to hear from Paul.
Okay. Well, first of all, Bobby, let me just turn back to you. Are you willing to do that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
All
I
right,
mean, listen.
thank you. Okay, so just two comments. Anticipating this discussion, as some folks know, I had contacted the office to see if Paul could attend in person. That can't always work out, and of course, Paul has a lot to do. So, whether that would have got us through it, I don't know. But I did ask a couple of days ago. But Jesse, just to, I think that we do see cases with intensifying development, more units, in neighborhoods that have where the street environment is high quality and attractive, and I always question. I have done it in the past when a design brings cars into the area between the building and the street, and because that's what I think that front setback is for. It's not for area of paving, it's for where the cars are going to be. I'm just trying to be common sense about that. So I would like us to have better understanding of what the bylaw means and how to apply it, and I mean that for everybody, because I think we're going to be getting more of this in all of the wonderful, walkable residential neighborhoods that we have. For the continuing, Cameron, have you got to look at the schedule to see when we have this panel or can have this panel again?
So there's not this specific panel scheduled, but we could move people around for a potential March 26th, or if there's an earlier date, maybe. March 26th has you and Jesse on it, Randolph.
Already?
The
Okay.
last person.
Wadner, you got your calendar there?
Yes, I think I just have if I may have a questions before we finish, but let's me look at my calendar.
And before you do that, Wadner, so Cameron, there's nothing before. That's almost 2 months from now. There's nothing before then that has, one or two of us already.
February 26th, Cameron?
No, March 26th.
I'm
Oh, you're asking about, yeah.
I'm
we could
on February 26th.
February 26th, yeah. One person can be moved from February 26th. The only person that's not there is Randolph.
Thank you. That's what I was hoping. February 20.
Maybe we could do that first if you just need a break, Randolph. I want to do one case.
Well, there may be other things for that date, but I am free. There's a 40B the night before, but on the 25th, but the 26th I'm available.
Somebody gets a night off.
Okay, so we have to vote the continuance, right?
Yes.
Jesse, all right.
Correct.
The chair's going to move that the case number 2025-000064 66 Toxteth Street be continued to Thursday, February 26th. Roll call. Wadner Ajay.
Aye.
Jesse Geller.
Yes.
And chair votes aye. It's unanimous. We continue. Thank you all. Thanks, Bobby.
Thank you.
We'll all learn more.
Randolph?
But you're staying. Yes, Jesse.
I'm gonna need a 2-minute recess on the next matter. Before
it,
you open
during
the
it?
next matter, I need a 2-minute recess.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Do you only need a majority to continue? We have one continuance, right? I think you only need the chair technically to continue. And I don't expect anybody on relative to it, but I don't know if you want to just take that to,
Are you talking about Chestnut Street?
yes.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Sure. Let me just jump to that. Because it's after 7:30. Everything was noticed for 7, Cameron?
Yes.
Okay. This is case number 2025-000066 concerning property at 133 Chestnut Street, where the project is to construct a rear one-story addition. Mr. Allen, you're here on behalf of the applicant?
I am.
And you'll waive a reading of the public notice?
I will, thank you.
Thank you. So my understanding is that we're not going to have testimony tonight. We'll continue the hearing, which I have been told is April 9th, 2026. Bobby, can you just tell us for the record, what is the reason for the continuance?
Yeah, as you've been hearing me say a lot, sometimes the planning board makes certain recommendations that get my clients very excited, much to my chagrin. And now my client is going back to redesign and potentially put a second story onto this proposal. So we're going to need time to step back, and we'll probably have to go to the planning board again. That's why it's pushed out so far.
Okay. All right. I move as chair that we continue this case to April 9th, 2026. Wadner Auger.
Yes, I support that.
And Randolph votes aye. And I hope you're right, Bobby, that was we can continue by majority vote, but
I believe so.
we can put that one aside. And we will.
Randolph?
Do you have? Yes,
Randolph,
Jesse.
I'm sorry to interrupt. So I guess I have what would be characterized as good news and bad news,
Uh-oh.
which I've just discovered.
Relative to the upcoming
The
case?
upcoming case.
Okay.
Apparently, one of the owners of the applicant is the husband of one of the lawyers with my firm, which I think raises a conflict question, which I obviously didn't know about because I didn't know that this party was one of the owners. So as I said, fortunately or unfortunately, I think that case too would need to be rescheduled for someone else to be the third member.
Well, we could, let's see. We're talking about 252 Aspenwall.
Correct.
If remind me here, if we don't open it tonight, we could continue it to any date and any panel could hear it.
That is
Can I
correct.
make a suggestion, Randolph? If you
Sure,
will?
Bobby.
Could we, since it looks like Steve Brooks is planned on sitting on 226 and you were going to take his place, what if we just keep Jesse on at the beginning and then Jesse falls off and we put it on 226? I have no idea if that
Wait, explain that to me, Bob.
So you would say for the 66 talks Tef, and then Steve Brooks would come in, you would leave, and Steve Brooks would finish the rest of the hearing.
I'm more than happy to leave.
I'm just throwing it out there because I don't know.
That's fine with me.
I just don't know how else we fit it in some reasonable time.
Okay.
This is really time sensitive, this matter, more so than other matters.
Well, Cameron, is there not a ZBA hearing even before that?
So, I mean, there is, let me.
Is it full of 48 cases already?
Yeah, because the next one is 212, and that's going to be 43 Fairgreen and 320 Woodland, which are two very big cases.
Yeah,
so
we want to variance on with those.
Okay. What have you got? Do you have the cases for 226 yet, or not just yet?
Not just yet. It should be fine. We might have to push one case back, but it could be fine.
Okay, so we'll figure out the personnel, but I guess if we if we leave Steve on that date and we add me, we'll do the juggling. And Cameron, we'll talk about the order to do this all in later. But for now, let's just, I'm going to make a motion to continue 252 Aspen Wall, case 2025-000065, which we have not opened tonight. We will open it on a later date on February 26th. On that motion, Wadner Ajay,
Aye.
Jesse Geller.
Yes. And Bob's also correct.
What's he correct about? About the voting?
About continuances.
Okay. All right. I'm going to vote anyway. So it's do something. We have to do something unanimous every evening. Well, that was
Unexpected early night.
That was unexpected early
Well,
night. So
Randolph Enid would have been impressed with how quickly you did that.
Yes, yes, she would make her 7:30 dinner time.
Yes.
Well,
or
you-
tea
Hi to
time
everyone.
in the summer.
yes. Hi, Nicole.
It's nice
Hi,
to see you all.
Nice to see you. Yeah, we'll look forward to seeing more.
How's the
of you.
baby, Nicole?
He's really good. Yeah, he's almost 1, so
Wow.
flew by.
Might not going to be a baby in a few more years. All right.
Nicole has officially joined the dark side.
Yeah. Let's why don't we adjourn? We're going to adjourn on a vote. I will move that we adjourn and then call on
Yeah.
members. Wadner, Ojai.
Seconded.
Oh,
Yes.
Aye.
sorry, I've been missing seconds all night. Seconded by Jesse. Wadner votes aye. Jesse Geller,
Yes.
yes, and Randolph votes aye. Good night, everybody. Thanks, and
All right,
see you
thank you,
soon.
everyone.